Hello everyone. It's been a while, about 3 months to be exact. It is July 8th now, and time to do my April through June collection update. Now obviously, part of the reason why it's been so long since I uploaded one of these is because I just didn't get a lot until June. So I figured I could just bundle everything together, and since I finally had enough for me to feel like I could do a video that's a decent amount of stuff, I just figured I'd do it now. Yeah, usually I upload on the 1st of every month, but I'm a little late. I've had a lot of personal stuff going on in the last month or so that's why it's a little late. Joining me for the first time in person in the collection videos, she has been over Skype before, once or twice, I can't remember. But joining me for the first time in person in the collection videos is my girlfriend, Crystal.
Sup?
So for the first time in a very long time, we actually have a little bit of everything. DVDs, Blu-rays, CDs, video games, and we actually have posters for the first time in I don't even know how long. Okay, so we're going to start with posters. The first poster here is actually still in its plastic wrap and rolled up because I don't want to take it out of the plastic wrap until I hang it up. It is actually a Legend of Zelda stained glass mosaic-like poster in the style of Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. I'm pretty sure I've seen this picture on the internet in places, so I can show it to you now. So I basically found it in a store in like one of those poster things where that you flip through, and I bought it because I wanted it, and I think it's really cool, and I love Zelda, so, you know, of course, I would pick it up. Really cool poster though. The second and last poster that I have actually goes with something you'll see later in the video, so I'll just show it to you guys later at that point. So that is actually the end of the poster section. I wasn't quite sure where to put this next thing I'm going to show you here, but I really wanted to show it to you guys in this video because it's so cool. It is actually a Dragon Ball Z cup that has the Eternal Dragon all over it, and it has like little, you can't really see too well inside, but it's got all kinds of Japanese symbols on the inside. I don't know what they mean because I'm not Japanese, but it's really cool.
Let me see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know either.
But it's a really nice cup. I honestly don't even know if I'm going to use this. It's almost too nice to use to me.
It's a really big cup.
It is a big cup. Like, it's big. Her hand fits inside of it.
And I have a big hand.
And she has big hands. Really, really nice cup. I like it a lot. It's really cool. And it was pretty cheap too. I was surprised. But now we'll move on to Blu-rays, because it's actually just all Blu-rays. We have a couple of those. We'll start off with the only live action one here, and that is actually Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I've actually seen this movie. It was a while ago. I really enjoyed it because it's just you can tell the creators are, well, they were true to the comic first of all, and obviously the comic book creators and, you know, the director and everybody that made this movie was pretty influenced by video games, because it feels like you're watching, almost sometimes watching, a video game movie. It's really cool. You know, I don't want to really ruin the plot too much, but it's got all kinds of people in it that were famous at the time or were popular at the time. You know, this is kind of part of why Michael Cera became famous. This movie and Superbad, really.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this was originally mine. I bought this.
Yeah, this is one of the things that was Crystal's. A lot of the stuff you're going to see in this video is stuff Crystal brought with her, and I just wanted to throw it in this video.
Can I say stuff about this movie?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
So, I don't usually watch movies. Like, I'm really, like, strict when it comes to repeat viewings of stuff, or repeat playings of games, or repeat listening to albums. But I actually watched this movie 3 times.
Oh, wow.
In a row.
In a row?
Yeah.
In the same day?
No, like 3 days.
Okay. No, I saw this movie once. I need to see it again because I did.
You need to. It's really nice. I like the
visuals are nice, actually.
The visuals and the editing and stuff.
And
they actually, like, the main characters, like Michael Cera and the band and all that, they actually had to learn how to play instruments, like, for real.
Oh wow, they did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, it's like legit.
Really good movie. I would suggest it to pretty much everybody, honestly. Let's just be real.
It's nice. It's entertaining to me.
Good movie. The last 2 Blu-rays here are actually both anime, which I haven't bought in quite a while. First up, we actually have something that, when announced, I was speechless because I didn't think they'd bring this back in the way that they brought it back. It is actually the first Digimon Adventure Tri movie, Reunion. When they announced Digimon Adventure Tri, it was originally meant to be a mini-series, but they decided to turn it into 4 movies, I believe. Basically, it has the original, it's the original Digidestined from the first season, which is, my childhood, basically. So I was all on board with that. Plus, most of the original English voice cast reprised their roles in this movie. Most. I believe there's 3 that don't, if I remember correctly. But the main character, Tai, is his original voice. That's all that matters to me right now. But this is the only one that's out so far. The second one is actually supposed to come out here in August, I believe. Really excited for that one. I have not watched this yet, partially because I wanted to watch it with Crystal, but she hasn't seen enough of Digimon to understand what's going on in this movie. She's seen the first season a while ago.
Yeah, I saw the first season of Digimon when we first got together. That was like 2012.
Yeah, so I own the first 3 seasons on DVD, so it's not like I can't show it to her. But basically, in order for her to be caught up with this, because it takes place 6 years after the end of the first season and 3 years after the end of the second season, she would have to watch both seasons 1 and 2 to, I wouldn't necessarily say completely understand everything, but to understand ages and Digimon and all that stuff. So, I'm really excited to see this movie because the animation's actually different than the series.
It looks different. The box looks like the back of the box. Like this screenshot looks different right
Which
now.
will take. I mean, there's not much different when you take it out of the case. Like it's exactly the same, but yeah, it's really really cool to see, and I am excited to watch it finally. But really really cool. Can't wait to see it. And then finally, a rather important anime movie to a lot of people. One they've never seen, because I'm a failure. But it's actually, I finally got another Miyazaki movie, which is awesome, because, I want all of them. I really do. It's probably one of his most important, Princess Mononoke. This was probably, has been my #1 Miyazaki movie since before I had any Miyazaki movies, since before I had Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle.
It's your favorite movie, but you've never seen it?
No, I'm saying it's the most important. A lot of people consider this his best movie, is what I'm saying. A lot of people consider this the most important Ghibli movie, period, from what I remember. But anyway, I haven't seen this. I need to, because a lot of the undertones in this movie, just a lot of the visuals, and just everybody says it's a phenomenal movie, so
so good.
Yeah. She's seen it.
I've seen most of the Miyazaki movies, so...
Okay, yeah.
Except for, like, maybe 2.
I've seen Spirited Away.
Like, the newer ones, like
the newer ones?
Yeah,
okay.
like the ones that were in theaters, like, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I've seen Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away, that's it.
Wow, so, you're behind!
Yeah. But, basically, really excited to see this. Her and I will probably watch this eventually soon, because, I mean, it's Princess Mononoke. If you're an anime fan, you have to see this movie, really. You have anything to say, Crystal?
This movie is, like, really, really good. Just, I have nothing else to say besides that.
Okay, cool.
Just, oh, wait, no, I have one more thing to say. Yeah, I saw this when Cartoon Network was doing their Miyazaki movie month thing, where they would, like, show a movie. No, it was, like, a week of showing, like, Miyazaki movies.
Okay.
Like, every day. But that was, like, years ago. That was probably, like... 2007 or something. Yeah, I really like the animation. It was one of the only movies where I felt any kind of, what's it called, emotion. Because I don't really feel emotions in movies because you don't really get attached to a lot of characters. But this one, you get attached. You don't really get attached to the characters. You get attached to what they believe in. That's what the movie's about. It's not about them, but it's about what they're trying to do.
I can't wait to watch this movie, finally. Yeah, everybody go watch this, for real. Like, I haven't even seen it, and I think people should watch this, so... And Crystal can attest to that, so...
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, that is it for Blu-rays. We go on to CDs now. There are exactly 10 CDs from the last couple months. A few of these are crystals.
A few.
Intertwined in here. We'll actually start off with the classic, I guess I can say metal CDs. We actually have, and these are both crystals actually, we actually have 2 Judas Priest albums, which I was really happy to see in her CDs that she brought, because ever since I listened to Angel of Retribution, I was like, I need more Judas Priest, because I really enjoyed that CD. We have, this is Hellbent for Leather. These are both remastered, by the way. Hellbent for Leather and Painkiller. Hellbent for Leather, you know, I think the CD's alright. There's a couple good songs on it. But it's basically before they really turn to their, I want to say, more heavy sound. On the back here, songs I like. We got, I liked Evening Star and Before the Dawn, I believe, were both really good. Have anything to say about Hellbent for Leather, Crystal?
I guess because I only really listened to this album like a couple of times, so I don't really remember that many songs, but...
I mean, the title track's good. Hellbent.
Hellbent for Leather's okay, but... I don't know, just the way they sound in this album, I don't really...
It's too early. This is basically, I believe, an album or two before British Steel, which is the album that essentially made them famous. And I believe it was British Steel, and right after is when they really turned towards the more metal sound, to me at least. And it's cool. It's got some classic Priest songs on it. It's not bad. I like this album cover though.
I like the album cover. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually where their imagery, or not their imagery, this is the album where they started dressing up in all leather and all that. Was after this album actually.
After. Not
or
during.
After they made it. It's an alright CD. I wouldn't say it's their best. But
it's good to, like, it's easy listening.
But this CD, Painkiller.
I think Painkiller is probably like my first or second favorite Judas Priest album.
Yeah, this is a fine album. This is a great album and a badass album cover too, which apparently this is the Painkiller.
I mean, that's what I think it is.
Well, if you listen to the song Painkiller, it kind of describes him in the lyrics. But anyway, songs I like: Painkiller, Hell Patrol, All Guns Blazing, Leather Rebel, Metal Meltdown, Nightcrawler. Pretty much all of these are good. There's only a couple songs that I thought were okay on here. I really like this album a lot. Yeah, it's a really good album, and I will definitely be picking up more Judas Priest when I have time and money.
So this was an album that would be in my car, and I'd listen to it going to work and stuff all the time. So I basically know almost all the songs on this album, except for maybe the last few. Because by the time I would get to where I'm going, I wouldn't listen to those songs. But, Between the Hammer and the Anvil is, like, probably my favorite song on this whole album. Everything else, like, it's just such a memorable album to listen to. For me, anyway.
Really, really good classic metal album, though. I mean, it's from the year I was born, but I guess, you know, I am in my mid-20s, so you could consider it classic at this point. Basically, I'd say this is probably my favorite, probably my favorite classic metal band, from the amount I've heard of them compared to other, like, Metallica and Iron Maiden. I think I just prefer Priest better right now.
Oh, and the freaking, whoever the guitarist is for this album, oh my god.
KK Downing?
I forget who it is.
I believe it's KK Downing.
He's the greatest in this album.
He does a fantastic job.
God.
Solos are great on this album, that is true. But, yes, Judas Priest, great album. Classic metal, great. Alright, now we move on to the more modern stuff. There's quite a bit of actually, like, new stuff in here that we will see. And then obviously some more couple Crystal albums scattered in here. But first up, we actually have a band that I've gotten into lately since right about Prog Power time last year, because I bought both of their albums at last year's Prog Power, and they released a new one this year, which is awesome. That being Mind Maze. This is their new album, Resolve. Unfortunately, the mailman or whatever decided he wanted to do whatever he wanted with the package, and it broke quite a lot, so I'm not going to open the case because it'll fall apart. Thankfully, the CD still sits in the side it's in, but the front part here comes off. This album is actually really, really good. I actually probably like it more than their second album, Back from the Edge. I don't know if I like it more than their debut album, A Mask of Lies, but this album surprised the heck out of me. It's definitely on the top list for this year of CDs for me. Songs that I like. Fight for the Future, In This Void, Drown Me, Sign of Life, Abandon, One More Moment, Shattered Self. The Path of Perseverance is up there as one of their best songs, honestly. Very, very, very good CD. These guys are definitely up and coming in the progressive power metal genre. I enjoyed it a lot. This is just a really good CD, man. I like it. Cool cover, too. Cool cover. Then we have a band that I haven't had in a video here in quite a while, and if they hadn't released a new album recently, I would say I have their whole discography, but they did release an album since my last video, actually. My last collection video. Well, period video, really. That being Van Gogh. This is actually their second album, Kingdom of Ruin. They did just release a new album back in May, so I am only missing one. This is actually, this album actually surprised me. I don't want to say I didn't really like their first album, Mannequin Parade, but it didn't impress me as much as Between the Madness did. So I am really excited to get their new album at some point, because Between the Madness was awesome and this album is awesome, so I really want to get that when I can. Songs I like on here, pretty much the whole thing. Disloyal, Choke, Fate, Drown, Abandon Me, Drained, Kingdom of Ruin, Frailty, the Transformation and Rabbit Kingdom, Stay, Sounds of Wonder, Requiem for a Fallen King, The Garden Time Forgot, which is a 13 and a half, almost 14-minute song. But it's a just solid prog metal, man, and these guys are really heavily influenced by Pain of Salvation, so you can definitely sense the influences there. But I'd say they're a little heavier and tend to lean more towards the heavy side than Pain of Salvation, but you can definitely sense the inspiration from them. And this is actually another one of Crystal's CDs. So.
Oh yeah, I bought this at Prog Power when we went to Atlanta.
Oh, that's right. That year we went together, she bought that. I forgot. I always forget that she bought that there. Moving on, we have another prog metal CD, and one that took quite a while to actually get here. This is one of the first CDs I got, back in April. This is Andromeda, Chimera. It took like a month and a half for this CD to get here. So this was actually a pretty solid CD from what I remember. It's been a while since I listened to this one. This is their third CD. Pretty good. Periscope is good in the end. That's a good one. Inner Circle, Iskenderun, which is actually a town in the Middle East somewhere. I learned that because Crystal and I have been watching the Indiana Jones movies, and there was a town called that.
Oh.
In the movies.
That's why you said that.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, and then a blink of an eye, I believe, is like 10 minutes long. This is actually apparently a re-release from 2013, because this album is definitely not that new. It's from like 2007, something like that, I think. Solid CD. I still think Manifest Tyranny and Extension of the Wish are better, but still really solid CD. I'm actually only missing one CD of theirs, their second CD, and I have their entire discography. And this is actually probably one of the fastest I've bought almost an entire discography for a band, because I bought the first album of theirs that I own at Prog Power last year. So in a year, I've gotten 6 of their CDs pretty much. So they're good though. They're really political most of the time though, which is weird, but it can be good depending on how you do it, which they did really good in Manifest Tyranny. Really good CD though. I like it a lot. Then we go on to another CD that actually blew me away. I wasn't expecting it to be as fantastic as it turned out to be. And this is actually Pyramaze's new album, Contingent. This CD, the singer is definitely the star of this album. Him and the keyboardist, just for orchestration, period. But the singer definitely stepped up his game. Their new singer. I really did enjoy Disciples of the Sun, but vocally, their singer, I'm not going to butcher his name, because he's from somewhere in Europe. I can't remember what country right now. But he's got a foreign name, and I don't even want to try to pronounce it. But he does a fantastic job on this album. And this album absolutely blew me away musically. Land of Information is good. Kingdom of Solace, Starmen, World Divided, Nemesis, 22nd Century, Heir Apparent, Under Restraint, everything. This whole album is really, really good. This is really, really solid prog metal. I'm only missing their first CD still, but that's actually really hard to find. If I can ever find it, though, I want to get it because I really like their original singer, too, and I actually have one of the albums with him in it. So I want to get that album at some point because people like it a lot. So, but definitely Pyrames is very, very, they are very good at what they do. I will say that. Very, very good. Very, very solid CD. Awesome music. These guys are just a really good band. I like them a lot. Then we actually go on to one of my favorite bands just because of just how unique I want to say they are as a prog metal band. And this is actually their new album. This is Voyager's new album, Ghost Mile. That's a pretty kind of generic cover, but I mean it's really colorful on the inside though. But this was actually, I believe, crowdfunded, just like their last album. I believe they did a crowdfunding for this, because I believe it has in the booklet in here like thank yous to all of our funders, because they're still an independent band, even though they're fairly popular in progressive metal. This album, I will say, was quite good. I don't want to say it's my favorite of theirs, but it was still rather solid. It's a short CD. It's only like 40 minutes long. It's probably their shortest CD, but it was still fun to listen to. Songs we like, the first two there, Ascension and Misery's Only Company, The Fragile Serene, To the Riverside, Ghost Mile. What a Wonderful Day is a really good song. Disconnected, This Gentle Earth 1981, and As the City Takes the Night, all really good. It's a short CD, like I said, but it's some solid prog metal. These guys are definitely influenced by like electronic music and the gent movement, because you could definitely tell guitar-wise that their influences are from that. Very good CD. I like these guys a lot. They also know how to put on a really good live show. I haven't seen them, but I've seen videos and stuff, and they know what they're doing. So I really like this album. It was good. Okay, these last three CDs here I consider, well, headliners at pretty much any festival they'd go to. Here first we have a prog rock band that I enjoy quite a lot. It is Anathema's new album, The Optimist. This is actually a sequel CD of sorts to a previous album of theirs, A Fine Day to Exit. I probably like this album a little bit more. The songs I like on this album, well, first of all, up top here, you have latitude and longitude coordinates. The first song is latitude and longitude coordinates to a beach in San Diego, I believe, that is actually the beach that is on the cover of A Fine Day to Exit. So basically, I guess A Fine Day to Exit, I didn't realize it was a concept album, I guess it is, but they basically went, well, what do we think happened to the character from A Fine Day to Exit after that album? It's kind of, that's what their thinking was. I wouldn't really consider this a concept album either, but it just has some solid songs on here. It's definitely more, I want to say, electronic influenced at points, because they use like electronic beats sometimes, but otherwise it's solid prog rock. Leaving It Behind, Endless Ways, The Optimist, San Francisco, Springfield, Ghosts, Can't Let Go, Back to the Start. Really, really good CD. I really like these guys a lot, actually. I really like Anathema. I want to see them in concert eventually. So, definitely some really solid prog rock.
They're from California?
No, they're from Britain.
Oh. For some reason, like, I have a lot of British friends that I talk to online.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in Britain, when they think of America, the first thing they think of is either California or Florida.
Oh, well, that might have something to do with it. I like this album. I don't think it's their best. I still think that goes to Weather Systems. But really good album. I like it a lot. Then we have the Last Crystal CD, and an album that actually surprised me a lot, but I've been wanting to get more of this band for a little while at least. And she happened to have the CD, so I was all hyped. It is actually Iced Earth. This is their second newest album, Dystopia. Unfortunately, it's a little broken on the corner there. I don't know what happened, but it is.
I got it from somebody. I forgot who gave it to me.
Also, the CD doesn't even sit in the case either.
I want to say my brother gave it to me.
But that's okay. It still works. Like, it actually sits in the case without moving around too much. Yeah, this album actually really, really surprised me. I love the cover again. You know, the only thing that I have to say and I don't want to say this is negative necessarily, but the new singer sounds a lot like Matt Barlow, the singer that made this band famous. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. It fits the music. It fits the music, so I don't really have a problem. But he does sound eerily similar to Matt Barlow. And I do like Matt Barlow as a singer. But anyway, songs on here I like. All of them, almost. Dystopia, Anthem, Boiling Point, Anguish of Youth, Dark City, Days of Rage, End of Innocence, Tragedy and Triumph. They're all... The back cover is awesome. I just love how, like, crazy. Like, this is like a semi-concept album about, like, machines taking over and stuff, I think. It's something like that, if I remember right. And apparently, metal bands really like doing albums about machines taking over.
Yeah, like, a lot of metal bands I listen to, every single one has at least done something like this.
Because, like, there's Symphony X did Iconoclast. Scar Symmetry has a couple, like, it's a 2 or 3 series.
They might be trying to warn us.
And, oh yeah, that's right, Epica did it too.
They're trying to warn us.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Yeah, well, obviously, it's common knowledge that people think machines are going to take over. But I really like... This album definitely surprised me. So I will get the other album with the new singer and every Matt Barlow album. And then Ripper Owens also sang for Iced Earth. The guy that replaced Rob Halford from Judas Priest. Going back to the beginning of this section. But anyway. Crystal, do you have anything to say about this album?
It good.
It good. It's a good CD. Yeah. Awesome. And then finally, we have an album that took way too long to get here. It took 2.5 months for this CD to get here because of a giant mess that I will explain. But I want to talk about the album itself. We have the new Arion, The Source, signed by the man himself. Yeah, I paid extra money to have this signed. It also came with a t-shirt that they sent in the wrong size, so Crystal has a t-shirt. And it came with a poster that you will see here in a minute. But this is a 2 CD album, because Arion does that. It's basically a prequel to his overarching story that he said he was done with. Don't need to go into detail about it, because I don't even understand the whole thing. But in this CD, which I think is probably his best group of just musicians or singers, period, he has a lot of returning people, or a few returning people, and a bunch of awesome newcomers. But it has James LaBrie from Dream Theater again, who is on my favorite album of his, The Human Equation. Tommy Karavik from Seventh Wonder and Camelot, my favorite singer in the world right now, is on this album, returning from The Theory of Everything. We have a newcomer, Tommy Rogers, from Between the Buried and Me, which I just got their most recent album not too long ago. There's also Simone Simmons from Epica, playing a more substantial role than she did on 01, because she was only in 1 song on that album, so she plays a more major role, which is awesome because I love her voice. And then another newcomer, Niles K. Rue from Pagan's Mind, which I actually called. I would just like to clarify how many of these singers I called from the beginning. I was just like, you know what would be cool is if he had XXXX, X and X again. And I even guessed some soloists, but I wasn't right about those. But I called Tommy again. That was just a wind and a prayer. I wasn't actually expecting that. I called Niles, or Nils. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's Norse. So
Norwegian?
Norwegian, yeah.
Norse.
Norse is too old. But yeah, I called that. And then actually Tobias Sammet from Edguy and Avantasia, who is considered, that band's considered a competitor to Arion. But they're actually really good friends. He does a really good role in here. And then Hansi Kirsch, I think, and I mean they're German, that's probably butchering his name, but Hansi from Blind Guardian returns again after being in 01. And I love his voice, so I was so happy to hear him again. Michael Mills, who is from a band called Toehider that I need to check out, but he was also in Theory of Everything. He was actually the singer that surprised me the most in that album. He's returning as a computer, and he sounds so great because it's a bunch of just random a cappella, and just the mix is so great for his vocals. And returning again, Russell Allen from Symphony X and Adrenaline Mob. He returns for the first time since Universal Migrator, where he only did one song. He plays a pretty substantial part in this album as well. And then first-timer Michael Erickson from Circus Maximus, who I called, I would like to add. I called that. I actually called Simone, too, now that I think about it, because I was listing, like, female singers. But Michael Erickson, another singer I really like. Really cool to hear him in this. Another singer I could have guessed would be in it, Floor Jansen from Nightwish and After Forever. She returns. She's actually been on 2 albums other than this, 01 and Into the Electric Castle. And then playing a very small part is Zahir Zorgadi from Mirath, which was a real surprise to me. That was a cool one, but he plays just a very, very small part, like 2 vocal lines. But I liked every song on this album, so I'm not even going to list them all off. I'll suggest the singles, The Day That the World Breaks Down, which is a pretty long song. Everybody Dies is good. Tsar of Sira, Run Apocalypse Run, and The Source Will Flow are all singles that you can find on YouTube. I mean, the whole album is technically up there. He uploaded it after it came out. But this album took 2.5 months to get here. This is actually the deluxe version with the 2 CDs and a making of DVD, which isn't as good as the other making ofs that I've seen, but nah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But this took 2.5 months here because he switched to a new label group, Mascot Label Group. And basically what happened was the album came out. They sent an email to most of the people saying, we didn't anticipate there being this many people wanting the signed version, so it's going to be a little while before you can get it. And then they gave us a free digital download of the album, which is cool. And I was like, okay, that's nice of them. I'll get the CD a couple weeks late because they're just having technical difficulties. And then almost a month later, they basically said we had to send a bunch more copies to Arjen, because he is Dutch, to sign and then send back. So I'm like, actually I think it was like 3 weeks after that first email, they said that. And then I'm like, all right, so it'll be maybe 2 more weeks till it gets here. I still think that's ridiculous. I was starting to get frustrated at this point. And then nothing for over a month. I heard nothing. And then I was in contact with another friend on Facebook who was also waiting for this album, the same version, the signed version. And he was like, yeah, I've been basically complaining to Mascot and asking what's going on, and they're like, oh, it should be here soon. And then finally his friends started getting it, so I'm like, okay, I should be getting it soon. And then it did. His showed up the day before mine did, or actually the same day, now that I think about it. I just didn't check the mail until the day after. But it's just like 2.5 months for a CD, just because they didn't anticipate, one of the bigger prog metal people, period, fans wanting a signed copy. I think that's really stupid. I'm sorry. But if it was like 3 weeks, I would have been like, yo, that's fine. But 2.5 months to get a frickin' CD is beyond ridiculous. I just think that's absolutely stupid. I did neglect to mention that Paul Gilbert and Guthrie Govan are doing guitar solos on this album. They have guitar solos. But I love this CD. This is probably up there as one of my top CDs of the year, but it just took so freaking long to get here. But really good album, and Crystal actually listened to this one with me.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I really did.
It was a solid freaking CD, man.
Yeah.
It's trippy. Like, the amount of vocalists and musically, it sounds so good. Really, really solid album. I like it a lot. And it actually came with a poster that I said earlier, which is basically just the album cover in a bigger sense. I don't really need to show you that. You saw the album cover. That's all it is. It's just a bigger version of that. But really, really good album. I enjoyed it so much. That is it for CDs. We move on to the final and most interesting section, I'd say, video games, because of sheer surprise here at the end. First up, we're actually going to start with, I don't really want to say 2 new consoles, but Crystal brought both her DS Lite and PSP, so we have 2 of those now, which is really cool.
Basically, my old fat Nintendo DS got stolen at school, along with my PSP and my Game Boy Advance SP. At the same school.
At the same time?
year.
Oh, they weren't stolen at the same time, were they?
No. But so yeah, I told my mom, oh, blah blah blah, my games got stolen, and then my sister's boyfriend, she's still with him. This was like 10 years ago. But anyway, he bought me this on my birthday.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's awfully nice of him.
That's why and I still got it.
And
then the PSP, a long time ago when I was going into high school in 2000, it had to be 2008.
Yeah, the PSP came out in like 06.
Yeah. So a long time ago in 2008, when I was moving to another part of Virginia, I didn't really have internet, so I was leeching off of somebody's Wi-Fi, going online with the PSP and everything, like looking at YouTube and all that. And when I had more brain cells, I actually figured out how to jailbreak it and all that.
Yeah, so this is
so it can like run like Nintendo emulators and stuff.
Yeah, that's what my friend did. That's actually why I got a PSP, was to do that originally, but then like...
But I don't remember at all how I even did it. I just somehow figured it out online, and yeah.
Which is really cool. So this is technically a jailbroken PSP, which is pretty cool. Really nice.
You can't ever update it though.
Yeah, you can't update it. But that's the consoles. We'll actually move on to a couple Steam games that I picked up. First up, my friend Phoenix, just out of the blue, got me a game called Space Hulk Deathwing, which is inspired by the game Space Hulk, which I have, which is like a turn-based strategy game. But Space Hulk Deathwing is a first-person shooter, or I don't want to say necessarily shooter, but it's a first-person game where you fight waves of enemies. You actually play as Space Marines fighting Tyranids, if any of you are fans of the Warhammer 40k franchise. Really fun. I've played it once. We just had to get a group together to play it, and it just took a little while to get together. But I played it once, and it's really fun. It's definitely a fun game, and I will play it again. Very cool game. A lot of fun from the one time I played. Then, actually, during the Steam Summer Sale, believe it or not, for the first time in a long time, I only got one game because I didn't have a lot of money. But I actually got the new Dawn of War 3. I've been wanting that game since it was announced, and I love the original Dawn of War. I didn't like Dawn of War 2 as much, but I liked the standalone, the Last Stand game mode, which I hope they bring back or something. I have played Dawn of War 3 once as well, and it's definitely better than the multiplayer in Dawn of War 2. It's definitely different than Dawn of War 1. It's something I'll definitely have to get used to. But I liked it. I did enjoy myself. I don't think it's as enjoyable as 1 either, but it looks a lot better. And it's definitely a fun game, and it's one I'll play again because all my friends basically have it at this point. Yeah, I like it a lot. Don't have a lot to say because I only played it once, both of these games, but they're definitely fun, and they will be something that I continue to play. Then we go on to some physical games. First up, this is actually a game I got for free from my grandparents, and I wasn't going to say no, even though it's for an older or a previous generation of games that it did also come out for the current ones. It's actually Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I don't know what this sticker...
Call of Duty Advanced War.
I don't know what this sticker is. It won't come off.
It looks like it's one of those like security stickers.
But it like the plastic part came off, or that shiny part came off. This is the Day Zero edition, whatever that means. I did actually want to play this game when it came out, but I read some mediocre reviews about it, so I don't really have a lot to say. But otherwise, it's interesting to have it. I don't know if I'll ever play it, but I got it for free, like I said, so...
I'm just wondering why they rated it R. That's the movie rating thing.
I don't know if it's actually rated R.
Or maybe it's R for...
I don't know.
I don't know.
But like... it's a good... It's interesting to have, like I said. I don't have a lot to say about it because I'm not really going to play it, but it was free, so...
Yeah, I don't really know anything about Call of Duty after, like, Modern Warfare.
Same.
Anything else that's newer, I kind of just fell off the map.
Same. But, yeah, cool to have, though. You know, free game isn't something I'll say no to. Next here, we actually have a game that I bought at one of the retro game stores that I go to quite often. This was actually in the what do you call it?
Clearance.
Clearance section. Yeah, there you go. I have somebody to remind me words. It is actually Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii. You know, so it's basically the first Donkey Kong Country. It was the first Donkey Kong Country in a very long time, and it plays a lot like Donkey Kong Country, but in a more, it's definitely better graphics. Really cool to have. It looks nice, and I did like the Donkey Kong Country, definitely like the Donkey Kong Country game, so it was really cool. Crystal has more to say about this.
I actually have this game for 3DS.
That's right.
It actually plays a lot like the first Donkey Kong Country, except less stiff controls. So if you played the first Donkey Kong Country years ago, you're basically playing this game too. I don't know how to explain, but I mean, there's some different things. Like, you can use Diddy Kong, and he has, like, an actual jetpack thing. It's just Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. That's it. There's no other Kongs.
Yeah. Nice game to have, though. Really cool. Next up, we actually have some newer games, some brand new games that just came out. This was actually Crystal's birthday present from me. It's actually a Switch game, so I have another Switch game, which is kind of cool. It is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The reason it's deluxe is because it has all of the DLC characters plus some new ones. The Splatoon, there's Inkling Boy and Inkling Girl, and then I believe some like Metal Marios and Metal Peach or something. I can't. And then there's like there's a couple. There's like a Bowser and stuff. But it has all the DLCs, which means it has Link and stuff, which was really cool. Animal Crossing. That's what it was. It was Inkling and Animal Crossing. It was Splatoon, Animal Crossing. Yeah, and then it has a new and improved battle mode. I still can't get over that Switch cartridges are that big and they use this big old box.
I like how instead of like, I guess, like, games don't put game guides anymore, so the guide is the insert.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the back side of the thing.
Yeah, I've noticed that. But I've played this. We've played this once, and it controls really well. It does. It plays really good.
Yeah, it just plays like a standard Mario Kart game.
And Crystal really liked Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U.
Yeah,
so
like, I've played almost every single Mario Kart game, and I think this is, like, my second favorite.
What was your favorite then?
My favorite's Mario Kart 64.
Everybody's favorite is Mario Kart 64.
For some reason, everything on the Nintendo 64 is just good.
I'm really fond of Double Dash, though.
Double Dash is okay, but I don't like the double, like...
I loved that,
the
because you could play with two people.
Thing.
I really
the double characters on one thing.
I liked playing with two people.
I think that's just me.
But... Okay, that's fair. But really cool to have this. It's a really good game. Apparently
and a close, like, a third is the Mario Kart on Wii. Was really good, I think. I feel like it was.
But, really cool. It's a nice game. There are a couple more. There's like one Switch game out right now that I want, ARMS. But otherwise, probably the next Switch game I'm going to get is going to be the Mario game. So, yeah, really cool though. And then finally, to close out the games section of the video games portion of this video, we actually have a blast from the past, really. And a game that, yeah, when they announced, I was so happy. It is the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which is the original 3 games remastered. So you have Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, and Crash Bandicoot Warped, also known as Crash 3 by most people. Very good. You know, really happy and really excited when they announced this game. And this game looks amazing. However, the controls can tend to work against you. I feel like there's a little bit of, I mean, maybe it's my TV, but there's a little bit of input lag as well. But otherwise, like, I feel like they made the motorcycle levels in Crash 3 control better. But
it controls better, but
I got really good at the tiger levels in 3 with Coco, and like it feels like when you speed up, because in the original games, like the PS1 versions, I can speed through those in like one go, but in this game I had some issues because it felt like they made it harder to control when you go faster. But otherwise, the game's really fun and it plays really nice. And actually, something they actually added the ability to play as Coco in most levels as well, which wasn't in the original games. Really cool. Crystal has quite a bit to say about this. She's been nudging me this whole time, so I'll let her talk.
No, not a bit. Just like I played through all these games on a PlayStation, and so in the PS1 original game, like the first game. Let's just do the first game. Forget about the other two. Okay, so in the first game, you you're basically going through and the controls were stiff because the PS1 was really limited. But this is a PS4. They're not limited, but I feel like they're trying to emulate limited controls on a next-gen console.
But at the same time, they don't, because
at the same time, they can't do that, so they're trapped in between.
That's not what they did. They basically, I've read a lot of places and I've watched some videos. They basically, all of the games play like Crash 3.
Which is a problem for people who played the game in like 1999 or whatever.
Well, Crash 3 and Crash 2 were kind of the same, so I doubt it affects Crash 2 too much.
But it affects Crash 1 a lot.
Yeah, it does, because
like,
the jumping mechanic is different in that game.
There's like no, like in the first PS1 game, there's no such thing as momentum, and in this game, the momentum kills you.
Yeah,
a lot.
It does. We've noticed that. But I did, so Crash Bandicoot, the original, they made even harder, and it's pretty notorious for being difficult. But otherwise, we haven't touched Crash 2 yet, but we did play, we're playing through Crash 3 at the same time, and it plays great. It really does.
Yeah, like the third game is great, because the controls are meant for this game. Yeah, but they're not meant for this
Other
one.
than the little minor thing I said about the tiger levels, but that's, I did figure it out eventually, and I was able to speed through it. Yeah. I don't know how, but I figured it out.
I don't know how either.
I'm just really good at those tiger levels, man. I played a lot of Crash 3 as a kid. But the really cool thing, and this is more future, hopefully something that happens in the future, is Activision actually has the rights to Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. So, and I swear I read somewhere right as this game was about to come out that if this was well received, they might remaster Spyro, the original 3 for PS1. And if they do that, yeah, I'll be the happiest man on the planet, because Spyro 3 is my favorite PS1 game, so I'll be really super happy. But this game is cool. It plays really well, other than making Crash Bandicoot 1 more hard, or more difficult. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot to say about the second game, because that's the one we haven't touched yet. But basically, we'll probably start it after we beat 1 and 3, honestly. So, but really cool, and the game looks gorgeous. It really does. It looks very, very good.
Yeah.
But that's all for our video games. There are, believe it or not, we have a little bit extra here. There's quite a few amiibo that we picked up, or I picked up and Crystal brought with her. We'll actually start first with two amiibos I gave her. They're both opened, and it is Pikachu and Charizard. So these will go with my opened amiibo up on my desk. But
so this one was the one on my birthday, and this one was you just randomly.
Oh, I bought it for her while she was here when she first visited. When we did the Pokemon card videos, actually, it would have been that same time. But really cool to have these, because I think the Pokemon ones are actually, for the original set of amiibos, some of the better looking. And they're really cool, and Crystal really likes these.
I think they're better looking because the Pokemon, like, they're just plain colors. That's why.
That's fair.
Like, there's not as much detail you need to do.
But I really like Charizard a lot, the look. And Pikachu's just kind of bland. But anyway, really cool to have these, because I have open copies, so we might actually be able to raise some people up in Smash and have some strong amiibos or something, because I have my link. Moving on to the unopened ones. We'll start off with one of Crystal's, or the only unopened one she brought with her. It is actually one I bought for her. I actually pre-ordered this for her, because I knew she would want it. And it's actually the Shovel Knight amiibo. Really nice. It looks nice. Unfortunately, she had to pack it into a bag, so it's all bent up. But the box, the seal did not break, so that's kind of cool. So I'll put it on my shelf of amiibos and just let it sit. And then when she gets this game for 3DS, I think she's going to open this box, and that's fine. Really cool, though. Really nice amiibo, and she was really happy when I gave this to her.
Yeah, because I love Shovel Knight. I love how this game is just really good, and it's a freaking Kickstarter game, and it evolved from a Kickstarter game to being this big thing. Like, I just really like that.
Moving on, we actually have some apparently hard to get amiibos still. They actually announced a couple months ago that they were making more Zelda amiibos in the Legend of Zelda set. They announced they were all exclusive to different companies. There was a GameStop exclusive, a Best Buy exclusive, and an Amazon exclusive. I was able to get two of the three, the Best Buy and Amazon exclusive. Unfortunately, the GameStop exclusive was the one I wanted the most, which is frustrating. So I have to try to find that because I need it. So anyway, and each of the 3 amiibos were basically Link in the style of another game. So the Best Buy exclusive that I pre-ordered was a Majora's Mask Link. And I think that's really cool because he even has the Goron mask and stuff. And I think that looks awesome. And it's a really cool amiibo. It's just really nice. I have to have all the Zeldas. So I really like this amiibo a lot. It looks really nice. And then I actually also got the Amazon exclusive. And there's a little bit of a story behind this one because I'm frustrated about it. But it is the Skyward Sword Link. Really nice. And unfortunately, I guess it's Amazon and the mail or UPS or whatever, but I've also read a lot of reports that this happened to other people. But look how damaged this box is. So I guess I'm going to have to try to find another one of these at some point if I can. If it stops becoming exclusive to Amazon, I'll definitely buy it because I won't have to worry about this. And then I'll just have this open. That'd be cool. But you know what? I still got it, and I can't be angry about that. It's just frustrating when you don't know how to protect, because a lot of people don't open these, as far as I know.
And the bad thing is, I went to the UPS whatever with him, and for some reason this wasn't in a box, it was in a pouch.
Yeah, it was in a pouch. Unlike the last amiibo you'll see here, which was in a big old box.
Like, why?
I have noticed the only company that when you ship amiibo, because I've actually bought amiibo from Best Buy, Amazon, and GameStop now. The only ones that send it in a box with protection is GameStop. Everybody else sends it in a pouch. It's like they don't realize that people don't open these. Unfortunately, I'm missing the most important one to me, the Twilight Princess Link. That was the GameStop exclusive. I am going to find that. Somehow, I will find it. I don't know how, but I'm going to find it. And then to top this all off with this whole mess is this was exclusive to Prime members, so I had to sign up for a 30-day free trial of Prime for this. Thankfully, I didn't get charged the $90 or whatever it is for a year, but still, I signed up for Amazon Prime for this, and they can't even frickin' protect the box. It really frustrates me. And then finally, to finish this video, was an amiibo I honestly didn't think I'd ever find, if even as soon as I did. I follow an amiibo Twitter that basically will tweet out whenever there's a rare or out-of-print amiibo available in any way, whether it be a Japanese site or like a European site, so you're getting like the European version of the amiibo, the Japanese. I usually try to stick with the American ones, so it can complicate things a little bit. This actually popped up on Best Buy online, and I'm like, oh boy, I don't care how much it is, I'm buying this, because this was the most out-of-print amiibo. I couldn't even find a listing or a for sale listing on Google or anything, and I can't believe I found this. It's actually the Guardian amiibo for Breath of the Wild, which means I have every Breath of the Wild amiibo now. Yeah, this is the one that GameStop, or I'm sorry, it was GameStop, not Best Buy, I apologize. They actually sent this to me in a box with protective things. So it's a little bent. Oh, it's actually completely bent. There's a crease. I didn't realize there's a crease right there. That's nice.
Oh, that is a crease.
I don't recall that happening, so it must have been in transit or before they even put it in the box. But that's okay. It's in really good shape, and it's probably about as good as I'm going to get for this amiibo, so I'm just like, whatever. I also am surprised at how big it is. This is definitely the biggest amiibo.
I've never seen a box shaped like that.
Yeah, for that, and the only amiibo that's bigger than this that I've seen is the Giant Yarn Yoshi, which doesn't even come in like a shell like this. It just comes in a box that's like enclosed like a teddy bear would come in, or like a doll. But this is awesome to have because the Guardian is such a cool enemy. And it's just really cool, and I just love how it looks. The detail is so cool in this thing. Really cool to have, though. I am really, really happy to have that one for sure. But that is it for my collection update for April to June of 2017. I can say that collection updates are probably going to be a little more sporadic than they used to be, because I'm probably not going to have as much money. I can say that there is a CD coming out or two coming out this month that I'd like to get, plus I want to get that Van Gogh. I also pre-ordered 3 more amiibos, so they will be coming out at the end of the month. So there'll be those, and then if we happen to find anything that's cheap, we might put it in. You may see it. I don't think it'll be 3 months, but there'll definitely be one. I don't know if it'll be at the end of this month, but either way, I do hope you all enjoyed this.
Yes.
I do hope you all enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time. Later.